It's impressive. They do more work not to do work than it would be just to do the work.
Just to do the work.
Just had that argument with my son tonight.
It's crazy. It's insane.
Bitching about he misses his daughter with his traffic. I'm like, you're not gonna find a job where you don't have to travel. So just stop worrying about it and figure out how to deal with it.
Take her with her.
Yeah, they got electronics, you know, they got more
Yes.
sophistication than we were his age. We didn't have all that stuff.
Yeah, Kevin, you didn't want us to see your face?
I always turn my camera off.
I know.
No, it's just the ceiling. That's all it is.
I want you to see the alcohol and whatever you got going on.
Yeah, the mountains. I'm at the bar, you know.
Hard hat with a pair of beer cans on the side of it.
There's dollars up on the wall,
Yeah.
taped up on the wall. I thought I saw some.
Hey, I'm 17 years old down a house right here on the point of the old beehive. Myself, John Jackson, and Doug Ingersoll covered a 12 by 24 ceiling with Diller bottle caps.
Paradise.
One summer. One summer. Yeah, we were drunk.
Just the bottle caps?
Yeah, we were drunk most of the summer.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember much of that one. Then I grew up. I started drinking whiskey instead of beer. That's all.
I hear you. I don't even really drink beer.
Well, you grew up.
Well, in one sense.
Well, I say that, so you didn't live there long.
Yeah.
What's your go-to whiskey, Bill?
Well, it was, so it wasn't really whiskey, it was Southern Comfort.
Okay.
Was,
It was.
so I got so blistered on that many years ago, if they pass a bottle around, I tremble. So who will get away from me with, oh, God, it's awful. Yeah, and then you see these guys drinking Jack Daniels and shit, so I don't know how to do it. They're a lot rougher than I am. A hell of a lot rougher.
Kevin, can you send Chuck the new patient?
Usually,
I don't know that he
like
got
old
it.
fashioned or something. I don't just get straight.
I heard my name, but I couldn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
Can you send Chuck the new meeting link? I didn't tell him it changed.
But yeah, I'll send it to him right now.
We probably don't need him. We got all the firemen here. But where's?
I was gonna say. What's that? Steve Moore?
Fair Lakes Regional EMS Council. Sorry, I was gonna put that in
No,
there in
that's
parentheses.
okay. I just,
Put that
you
in there in
know.
parentheses and just put my mind.
Peter.
Yeah, she says.
That's charge.
Well, yeah, but that's how many times they assisted us.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's. Unless they. No, I. There's probably a thing in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into all that information.
I know, he's arrested. It was out on the ice.
What's that?
Does he have an ice rescue?
Yeah, they go 2 guys with the other end.
Why were they out on the ice?
At the other end, they had 4 or 5 inches of ice.
Really?
Not apparently where they were, but it was on the end, on most of it.
I'm good, how are you doing?
You don't. I know. She said.
But I'll send it over there, slow down. Oh, well,
This weekend's gonna be crazy, but other than that,
I was Super Bowl day.
that,
Franklin House said the same thing.
well, Dave George had a party. So, all the regulars, we all knew it, Skippers even closed down because they anticipated it.
Really?
Yeah, there was 120 people at his house. He got a big house, but stuff, it was. He had Steve McLean playing there from 4 to 6, and it was a party, you know. So I shut it down early and
Yeah.
went up there and watched it.
There you go.
Whatever. I knew it was gonna be like that, so I tried to tell Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told him, I said, nobody's coming. He said, I go, nobody goes to bars anymore in the Super Bowl. You just don't.
Yeah.
There are too many cops, too many bars.
Oh, yeah.
They go to houses, they do the safe thing and they're out. No, we're gonna be packed.
I drove.
Yeah.
A lesson learned, huh?
Yeah.
Not on your end, but
I knew better. I've done this too many, it's my first day,
first rodeo, huh?
first time ever, so it's whatever. Sometimes you have to show people things before they learn.
Oh, I have a couple. Is this just for any other ones?
How was your trip, Lori?
It was great.
Good.
I had a great time.
Good.
It was nice to get away. It was nice to see it. Oh my God, the holiday that goes on in Lake Placid is incredible.
Yeah, I haven't been up there in years, but
We had this room right out on Mirror Lake. And you could sit in a room and watch the hockey. It was great.
that's neat.
And you could go out by the fireplace too. It was pretty nice. They had dog sleds down there.
Did they? Oh, they got some.
Yeah, my granddaughter was all over that. And then we went to the hockey arena where all the kids were playing, and then my grandson was over there. So it
Nice.
was great. It was a great time. And we came back to camp for a couple of days. And it was just outside of us, we were at field.
Mhm. Nice.
Good time. How much snow up there was, though.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of people up there?
Oh, my God. The place was packed.
Really?
It was real good. Especially for being unexpected. I wasn't planning to go anywhere.
So that didn't work. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully the school's over for tonight. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the January 18th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I
In terms of my report, the water level is 245.11, been that way for almost 2 weeks. Somebody on Facebook pointed out it's magical what they can do, but they neglected the fact we've had almost no precipitation.
Yeah.
But we are up more than 6 inches in the last month, and we've reached the time of year when we'll continue to go up month after month. The significant thing that's happened is the February 6-month forecast that the Army Corps of Engineers puts out now puts us a couple inches above long-term average from now into June. And then in July, they say we're going to be normal. In the January report, we were a couple inches below normal. So it's adjusted about 4 inches based on all the rain we got in January. Now, Lake Ontario basin, water basin, got 175% of its normal precipitation in January. So that's why. But that can happen every other month too, so we'll see. In terms of the water system review, we did get 4 proposals from obviously different consulting firms that do this kind of work. Nate, Sharon, Lori, and I are all scoring them, turning our score sheets into Sharon. If we all come out with a clear winner, then we'll bring that proposal back to next month's meeting. If we don't, we'll schedule interviews with the top 2 or 3 and go from there. But in any case, we'll bring our recommendation back to the March meeting. Community peer, the group met and identified some additional locations that the consultants were drawing up. Told me I'll get them next week. We need to go talk to a couple property owners and see if they have any willingness at all to bite. Some may not, we'll see. In terms of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, Mary Osterman, Sharon Little, and I participated in the introductory meeting regarding an opportunity to prepare a project for resilience somewhere along the lake shore. This is a group that we belong to as a village. And I participate in lots of meetings. I co-chair one of their committees. I've been badgering them for quite a while to do something on Lake Ontario because most of their work is in Superior and Michigan. Malik Evans, somebody from the Indian tribe up on the St. Lawrence, was also on the call. This is funded by National Fish and Wildlife Association or Federation. So Mary is responding actually tonight with a list of potential project areas. What they will do if we're selected, there's no cost to the village or the county, is they'll do a resilience study on a section of the South Shore. I have no idea at this point in time what section, because we engaged the DEC and Wayne County Soil and Water to try to make sure we provided some representative choices. So more to come on that. Last month I said I'd bring the parking chapter to this meeting. I did get feedback from both Gary and Kathy, and I went to add it to the draft, and the draft became unreadable because of the formatting. So I've tried to unscramble it, and I've asked Matt's office now for help. And Kevin told me the other day he's got an idea. So we got to get this figured out or repeat it before the March meeting. Wastewater. They're working with the town of Ontario, who has engaged the MRB group on sludge disposal. Right now, we take our sludge to Seneca Meadows, which is, you have to have it tested, you have to haul by a special hauler, there's all sorts of issues. We don't have much sludge. We didn't even send any last year, which maybe we were supposed to send it at least annually. That seems to be up in the air depending on who the DEC you talk to. But Ontario is considering compost sludge on site in Ontario, and that would be a less distance travel. There's also rumors that Seneca Meadows and all the landfills are going to stop taking sludge someday. So Jeff is working on that. They did dig up the air pipe that goes to Unit 2, which is the unit we're not using right now, because it's got a lot of air leaks in it. We got quotes to line it. It's pretty expensive. We got quotes to have somebody do the work, and it was pretty expensive. So they dug it up. Jeff's getting quotes on replacing the pipe. Josh is also at the last of the 3 classes that he has to take before he can take the tapping. Jeff reminds everybody, always think before you flush, no wipes down the pipes. Bill?
Just not an awful lot right now. As David said with the parking, there's a snafu there. We'll take care of that the next month. I got the Sodus Point Fire Department's report here. They had 5 calls in the month of January, ice rescue, couple fire alarms. They assisted EMS with us, probably lifting or moving, and a water problem. And then they have a complete list of events, April, June, July, August, and they'll be posted, I'm sure, on the sign and elsewhere. But there's Eclipse standby, pot of gold dinner, old time baseball game, fireworks standby, Battle of the Badges softball game, boot drive, and the golf tournament. And then it's the safety officer part of my job. I'm working with Kevin to find out more what needs to be done for the village, rather my stuff through the fire department over the years that I had in safety officers is enough. And then there's one other one I have to take some classes on to get brought up, and we're working that right now. So that's all I've got.
Kathy?
The ambulance report. We had 12 responses for January. 8 of them were billable, and then 9 were assisted by ALS. Silver Waters is going to have a budget meeting before March 1st, so the village will have the budget needs early. And they have 4 members attending the Finger Lakes Regional EMS Conference at the end of this month, next week, I guess. And communications, that's also part of my job here. So Carly Straubing, I can introduce her because I saw you sneak in. She's in the back.
Hey, everybody.
She is our communications person for the village. And wears a lot of hats, but she's in charge of the Summer Fest. Last year, if you remember, you saw the posters around, said Summer Fest. So that's not just one event, that's kind of like all the events and getting them out as far as communication, publication. We had that done by somebody who was not even in the state. So it's gonna go a lot more efficiently this year with Charlie right here. And that Facebook page is not up and running yet, but will be as it gets closer to the summer season. She's also in charge, and many of you are probably following the Sodus Point Village Facebook page. There are over 2,800 people on that page that follow it currently, which that's a lot of people. Anyway, there's a lot of information there, and that page has grown a lot since she came on board. Recreation is another thing. I know we got the snow out there tonight, but looking ahead, the neighborhood association will be doing the annual beach cleanup. Tentatively, it's for April 20th. We usually work with a couple other groups, Wayne County Soil and Water and the Rotary, and anyway, April 20th, and that's all I have.
Highway. Last month they made 10 plow trips. Sure, they're gonna be making a couple more today. They were 23 for the year, but that's gonna go up. They've recorded over 65 trips so far, but they anticipate more. They just got done refurbishing the leaf box, as it was definitely desperate need. And it helped the wastewater evacuate their air piping and trying to get some projects ready for the spring. Get going in the weeks ahead. Maintenance is ongoing, and start going through the summer equipment, getting fluids, blades, belts, etc., ready to go. They've also attached a full proposal for new parts for the playground teeter-totter, as this is the only location they could source these parts due to its age. That's why there's only one quote. That's all.
And that was quite a job to get.
Sure was.
I attended the first LWRP meeting that we had to begin everything as far as the codes and things that we're looking to change as far as trash and just being good neighbors. Sharon did a masterful job of facilitating that meeting. Approximately 10 people attended the meeting, either by Zoom or in person. Information was shared, and I thought it was a great meeting. I did not attend the one that was Tuesday or Wednesday. I had a conflict that day. So my apologies for that, but I knew it when it was scheduled, and it's just the way it fell. On the parks, playground committee continues to be extremely active. We're working on the branding, point of sales, and strategies. They're also going to do something for the eclipse to kind of come out and have an ice cream social and maybe sell some glasses or give them away for a donation. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to look yet, but they're all planning to do it. On the planning board, I attended 2 of those meetings and watched them work diligently to restructure the code. I think the process is moving along very positively. Lots of projects and building going on, and Mr. Kostic became a part of the team quickly, and I felt that he had a positive influence on the codes. And I attended the Sodus meeting. Not much is happening right now for the CEC committee.
In terms of Kevin's report, he issued 4 permits and a review for a total of $1,380. And he also sent out the annual fire inspection letters to all businesses that require that. Now move on to public comment. You're in the room first. All right, on Zoom, Any public comment? Please, sorry, I didn't see it.
No, it's okay. Should have been louder. Hey, everybody, my name is Carly Rose Strawing. Oh, this is magnetic. I own the Points Mercantile and 8510 Greg Street, and just purchased 8441 Loomis, however you prefer to pronounce it. And I'm here to speak on two subjects, and I'll keep it super brief. My first issue is that people keep parking in front of my parents' driveway at 8512 Greg Street. If it isn't daily that their driveway is blocked, it's almost every day. If they didn't own the neighboring properties, they wouldn't be able to get in and out of their driveway. So can the highway department just make the no parking that's written on the road folder, like go back over it? It's really dull. I think that's a huge reason that it's not being paid attention to.
Carly, what's the address?
8512, it's right next to my store. It's very clear that it's a driveway. I just think like tourists are like so excited to park and do whatever they're doing that they're not really paying attention to it. I just don't want to have to call the police and like wait for it to be towed, you know, every single time. Next, I want to address the dumpsters that have been moved to the Jack's parking lot. That's how I can refer to it. This concerns me for several reasons. To paint just a little picture, let's talk about dumpsters in general, if you're not familiar. Dumpsters house garbage and occasionally vermin, which I think we can all agree is gross. Garbage looks and smells gross. Now, the garbage has to get to the dumpsters somehow, and presumably that will be by employees carrying said garbage across Greg Street, which is our main street, for everyone to see and smell, and that's not a great look for the village. Because Jack's is a restaurant, it's also safe to assume that food waste is going to be the primary contents of these garbage bags, including everything from expired meat to half-eaten shrimp tails, causing these garbage bags to leak onto our main street, and eventually that will cause the dumpsters themselves to leak onto a heavily trafficked parking lot. Furthermore, not only have these dumpsters been placed into potentially the busiest parking lot in Sodus Point, but it is also a right-of-way for residences. And perhaps the worst offense of all, it borders the lodge. People are going to be sleeping, showering, and eating with dumpsters outside their windows. That is not exactly the vibe I think Sodus Point is going for. Would this ever be okay in one of the town, cities, or villages in the Finger Lakes? I've never seen a dumpster on one of their main streets. Next time you are walking down Greg Street, take a look at all the businesses and homes, for that matter, that people have poured astronomical amounts of money into the effort to make Sodus Point more beautiful and more current. Jack's new owner's first order of business was to make Greg Street a little yuckier. My family owns a lot of properties in the village, and not only that, but they're also almost all in the business district. We have had to beg for permission to put in fences, make updates and changes to our homes, and even build the places of businesses with numerous meetings with different boards. But these dumpsters can be placed here without even so much as asking neighbors if it would be okay. That seems like nonsense. I love Sodus Point. I was born and raised here. This is my hometown and my favorite place in the world. Jack's is a staple in this community, and I love that we have it here, but this doesn't seem right. These dumpsters should be moved to a spot that doesn't ruin the aesthetic and overall experience of our village. Or the village can come up with a solution like a communal dumpster for the business district or something like that. Either way, I'm asking that we make this our problem that we need to solve. If anyone would like to speak to me about this further, you know where to find me, right next door. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Yeah.
Macrino, 8528 Greg Street. Yeah, Carly, that was great. The dumpsters are literally outside my bedroom window. So now I just did an addition to my house, made my bedroom on that side of the house, have the bedroom windows there. If I knew back in the day that that would have been, I would have brought the wall up. I had to come in front of this town to get permission to do that. Those dumpsters are literally 1.5 feet off of my window. 1.5 feet. When you drive down the road and they put a fence up, do you see the condition of the fence? They use broken wood, split wood. It looks disgusting. So that's their first impression of what they're doing in this town. It's disgusting. When you drive down the road, that's all you see. Those dumpsters need to go somewhere where it doesn't show. Go to Canandaigua, find a dumpster. Drove through there the other day. You don't see any dumpsters in the front of the road. Is that what Sodus Point wants? I think it's horrible. You know, everybody's on my case about putting stuff at the church. Trust me, I'm cleaning it up. It'll look really nice when it's done. But the fact is that I take pride in what I do. And I don't cut corners and I don't do garbage work. And if that's what the new owners are gonna do, I mean, that's a scary outlook. So what's next? So I don't want the dumpsters next to my house. So I think that the town needs to come up with, and I think it'd be a great idea to have a communal dumpster somewhere. Because you have 650 that doesn't have a spot for dumpster. You have Jack's, which doesn't really have good spots for dumpsters. I mean, I can't deny them places to put their garbage. But, and I understand as a business that you've got to throw things out. It's got to go somewhere. But dragging it across the street, all the way down the street, it's kind of crazy. So, same thing, Carly. I mean, you're gonna have dumpsters. It'd be nice to have a place where you could put them. So maybe the town needs to figure that out. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Anybody else in the room? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, see none.
Hold on. I'll let him unmute. Sorry, they weren't able to unmute. If he's, there you go. Now they.
Anybody on Zoom? Just unmute. You do? All right, we'll close public comment. Thank you very much. In old business, we have some playground repair parts. You approved the purchase of, and I'll ask Lori to kind of walk us through this. There's just a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah, but I think I can make it pretty simple. We went out to places that we could get the parts for. Playworld doesn't make all the parts anymore for that playground. So as Bud stated, we almost have to have it made. The Jeffries have done one of them, another place is doing another one. And we've done comparison on Game Time and Jeffrey Associates, who is the distributor for what is Playworld products at this point. So we had an audit done on the playground to find out what was going to go bad over the next year. It was to make the playground safe. We followed the audit. We came up with a quote for an ADA swing seat assembly, infancy, and 2 2/3/8 chair with all hardware included from Game Time, which can also be used on the new playground when we get it. And Jeffrey Associates quoted it a little differently. We did go back and ask them to sharpen their pencil on the freight because they'd given us one quote on freight and then they gave us another one. But they were still not in line. So, and theirs was broken out a little differently, which made it hard to understand. Game Times was all inclusive. Jeffrey's was taken out of context and put right down to the parts of the bolts. And Game Time has guaranteed that all hardware is included. So that quote came in at $3,256.28. The other one from Jeffrey came in at $36.26, and that's with freight. So I would ask that we purchase the swing set. I make a motion that we purchase the swings, ADA swing seat assembly, infancy, and 2 2/3/8 chair, all hardware included, and freight for $32.56.28. And then we'll take the next one.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. The next one was Play World replacement parts for the slides. The chain that's out there is dangerous at this point because it's broken. I believe that's been removed. The twist and shout slide had a crack in it that we couldn't repair. And that total price with the delivery is $3,827. I make a motion that we approve the Jeffrey's quote for $3,827.
So that's the twist and shout slide is the double slide.
Yes.
I have a question on this in
Yeah, go for it.
general. Is there any warranty still if when
None.
our guys do the installation? Does that take away from anything?
No, no, but I believe Game Time is gonna install the ones that we have. And I'm hoping that they'll oversee this one. I don't know that though.
Brad's hoping that, so he doesn't really want to install it.
Right.
Let somebody else do it.
So, I'm 90% sure, but I haven't. Fred told me do whatever we needed to do to make sure that playground was safe. We're still gonna have to buy wood chips because you have to bring the wood chips back up each year. And that's not a cheap ordeal either. So, that's where we're at with the, so I move that we replace the parts for the rope chain replacement with brackets and hardware for $688, and the beige and twist and shout slide, lightning slide replacement at $2,747, with the total freight at $389, and for a total of $3,827.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
And then the last thing was the coil spring, which is 18.5 large black. This was a bear to find. And it was actually, the playground people gave some ideas to Brad, but Brad actually is the one that came up with it. I wrote trucking companies, all sorts of places for this. And that's $910. And then there's a die cast aluminum disc block that's there. The total for that with shipping is $1,118, and that'll put that back into order.
It's actually 116709.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, it is. And I had that written down here. 116709. Thank you, Dave. I move that we accept that quote and get it ordered so it's ready for spring.
I'll second it.
so
All in
that,
favor? Oh, go ahead.
that's repairing the one that was taken out, the teeter-totter.
And the parts are still there.
Yeah.
If we leave those, we have to take those out, and that's gonna be a bear.
Right, the two blue
Yeah,
posts. or
And
whatever
we
they-
believe we can use those when we're done for it. So
Alright.
all of this, if it's not here, it may be in Mark's Memorial Park if the fire company is interested.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I,
Now, do you want me to call and order these, or how does this go, or do you take that? I think you have everything to do it with.
Tracy and Melanie will place you.
Okay, great, thank you.
But you should try.
I will get a hold of Fred, make sure we have somebody to put it in.
Okay, on to new business, and I will defer to Mark Jones to talk about purchase of a used fireboat for our department. Or whoever,
Yeah, no,
however you want to do it.
yeah, I'm the chief of the fire department, guys. Our boat captain's gonna do a presentation on the fireboat.
Beautiful. Kevin's gonna put it up on the screen.
Okay, perfect.
We might have to give him a minute, but
Morgan, do you want Chuck unmuted too?
yes, please.
Yeah, please.
I'm unmuted.
Oh, goody. Kevin, can you put the PowerPoint up? I'm trying. I don't
Yep.
know.
Right now. Can you see it or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So, no, good evening. My name is Luke Brockmeyer. I am the water rescue captain for the Sodus Fire Department. So I'll be going through just a series of slides, obviously, to talk about our new boat that we had established a committee to determine reason we need it, condition of the current boat, as well as selecting a few different quotes and seeing what would work best for us. We go next slide. All right, so our current boat, Water Rescue 4, we've had for a little over 20 years now. Typical boat like this should only last about 10 to 15, so it is beyond life. Also, the boat that we have is actually a center console fishing boat. It's not any sort of rescue boat or anything like that. You might see like the Coast Guard or Sheriff's Department have. So a lot of what we do, that boat is not deemed safe for it. Things like towing, rescue operations, a lot of the different activities that we get involved in. This boat isn't really meant for that. It's obviously just a fishing boat. So this is why we're really looking at a new boat. We're looking at, you know, the operations of repairing. There's several different repairs that I'll get into. But ultimately, we feel that because the safety is really our first priority, that this boat really doesn't bring that and suffice for what we need it to do. Next slide. So the next few, I'm going to just talk a little bit about different departments that we partner with, different areas that we serve, and really just talk a little bit about the department as a whole. So if you look here, you may have heard that the Coast Guard is going to be very, very limited if we have any support from them in this area, and that's strictly just because of the limited capacity that they have. They're very low on numbers to support this area. So not just a local thing, but it is a national issue that they have now. They do have I know the recruitment numbers are going up, but we still probably won't see an effect with that for several years. We'll also we'll continue to partner with the Wayne County Sheriff's Patrol. And if we look at the next slide, there's a couple different departments, local departments, things like Elton and North Rose that we'll partner with. The problem with that is the area. And also if we look at some of the events that these smaller departments really need to serve. Elton just has an airboat, which very limited use. And then we do know that we do get some support from North Rose as well. Look at the next slide. So some expanded operations that we have. Obviously, I just mentioned the lack of the Coast Guard. So that really puts us at being one of the primary rescues for within 400 square miles. So if you go all the way down to Duffalo Road up to Fairhaven, that's really the area that we have going out several nautical miles into the lake. So that whole area covers 400 square miles. Looking at the boat that we have, very limited. We would need to repower it, as well as having the limited support with the Coast Guard. We're going to be on several more calls than we typically would be at this time. We look at the next slide. As I just mentioned, additional presence on the water, just because of also looking at things like the eclipse coming up. We do have several very large events. We are a destination for people to come visit. So it is not typically a place where we're going to have limited traffic, especially looking at a boat now that really can only stay in the water for about 3 months out of the year. We would need a vessel that's going to be in there for much longer, much longer. Next slide. So here's our primary focus, right? Our crew safety. Right now, we don't have a cabin on the boat, so the entire crew went out there, are exposed to all of the elements. For those of you that have been out on the lake, we know that can get pretty dicey, right? There are a couple other things as far as the compartment and what we have on that vessel and really the capability. Right now, it's pretty crammed as far as the storage, the capacity that we have to have tools and resources that we need on that boat as well. So next slide. So our current water rescue, the condition of it, we've gotten a few quotes as far as how to rehab this vessel. Everything from repowering it to fixing some electronics in it as well. If you look at the slide, you're looking at, upwards of 70 plus $1,000 to rehab this. Really, that would just support it for another 3 to 4 years. And we would continue to see deterioration of this vessel simply because of having it now over 20 years. Next slide. This just shows the quote that we had from a repair shop to rehab the boat. So as you can see, a lot needs to be fixed on it. So that's why if we keep going to the next slide, you'll see some of the other engines that we've gotten quotes on. It's not a cheap fix. It's not cheap to simply repair a boat that isn't doing the job that we need it to do. And it's not keeping the members of our department or the public safe on it. If we look at the next slide as well, we'll see some quotes and we can kind of just go quickly through these. These are some quotes for new boats, right? So if we got a brand new safe boat being a device that is, a vessel that's meant for rescue operations, something that we would need, currently don't have.
Similar to what the sheriff has today, the big blue sheriff boat.
Yeah, and we're looking at over $500,000 on these new ones. So our committee that we had designated to search for this boat, obviously got multiple quotes on repairs, and then we went looking at new boats. If we go to the next slide as well, you'll see lots of different types of boats. That's what a safe boat looks like. This one in particular is a saltwater vessel though. These are aluminum boats, and that saltwater does damage that boat over time. So we really wanted to stay away from that, but we did go out and get a quote for that anyways. The next slide, this is the boat, freshwater boat. All right, this is the one that we are currently, our committee decided this is probably the best boat for what we're looking at, right? It's down in Texas, $175,000 is what we're asking for. This freshwater boat has always been in freshwater, so it's not exposed to those elements. It is also aluminum. It has the towing capacity, very, very good for what we're going to need to do, especially with the lack of towing that we're going to have from support from the Coast Guard that we previously had. So it does meet all of the requirements that we're looking for on this new boat. The next slide gives you some specs, which I won't bore you with, but the biggest thing is it comes with, the power that we need from the engines on there. It gives us the ability, it does have a cabin in it to help keep us warm, safe, things like that. So we would be able to go out on additional rescue missions throughout much longer of the year, as opposed to being limited to really just the summertime right now. The next slide looks at you can watch this if you haven't already. There's some links that you can see the boat in operation. It really goes into in depth how fast it can go. Goes through some of the features of the boat that would help us.
Click each one.
I don't know if there's hyperlinks on there. You may have to copy and paste them into a browser.
Dave, if anybody does need that, we can get that sent to them.
Okay.
Just so, and I believe you already do have those links. It was in one of the meetings, and I think Kevin has those links as well.
Yeah, they're on this computer.
There are a series of photos of the boat too that we can provide as well. Oh, there we go.
The boat going right now?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And we will be taking several of the electronics from the current boat that are still in good shape and moving them over to the boat as well. That helps save a little bit of cost.
As well as the firefighting pump, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good, Kevin. We can go back to the regular meeting, or this can just play in the background.
Yeah, I'll just talk through, you don't need to see the next couple slides, it's just, the Sodus Point Fire Department and the committee that was decided to move forward and present this to you, really just wanted to make it known that the existing boat needs thousands and thousands of dollars of repair. It is also not designated to do what we do. Okay, it's a fishing boat. The safety of our crew, the safety of the locals, as well as all of the people that, come visit our little slice of heaven here, really, kind of determine on making this transition, especially, looking long-term over the next 10, 15, 20 years, right? This boat that we have now is end of life, right? It could be somebody's fishing boat, one day, but not for what we do. The boat we are looking at, which you saw the video, is $175,000. So that's what we're asking for out of our fire department truck equipment fund. And the name of it's 2010 Safe Defender. It's the type of boat that allow us to really continue to do what we need to do for the next, hopefully 10 to 20 years with this boat.
You think that it has a life expectancy of that?
It does. Yes, 10 to 15 years is the expected life.
Do you know what we paid for the boat in the first place that we had?
I don't remember what it was. I was part of that
Whatever
myself
it
and
was.
Sodus.
I'm sure that.
And it was probably 60 or 70 tied up in that one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's outlived its. Is that boat
And
worth
just-
to sell?
It is, yeah. Yeah, what was the? About it, what was it?
Between $15,000 and $20,000.
I was thinking you probably are doing real well on that, but we definitely need what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and we're very fortunate that it has lasted this long. We've taken good care of it, in order to, and really a lot of the training we've done, has been kind of, we've had to make it work with what we had currently. This vessel is built for what we are supposed to do out there. It gives us the ability to provide the safety and support.
More of
that
an ambulance.
This baby is.
It's very well set up. If you look at TV programs, is a perfect spot to do it. As much as I hate to say it, but watch TV programs where you got the Coast Guard and you've got the law enforcement along the oceans and that. You'll find 90% of them have these safe boats.
Yeah.
And like he said, it is a freshwater boat. It's coming from Utah, correct? That's where it came from. It was Utah. It's got 4-stroke engines on it. Very long life. The 4 strokes are. I mean, it would be a great investment for the agency because, like they said, you don't have the Coast Guard that's going to be here as much anymore. Right off the bat, they like to see these guys in the water for the solar eclipse. Well, that's early April.
Yeah.
It's chilly in early April, and that's why with the cabin and heated, I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction, without a doubt.
Luke, can you tell me, does this boat come with its own trailer? It does have a trailer, okay. And as far as like outfitting it, what do you think the expected cost? I mean, I know you're gonna move the pump over and some of the electronics. What other?
I can answer that. We kind of estimated, between $5,000 and $10,000. Yeah, obviously without getting it here and knowing exactly.
Right.
We're gonna take, literally all the electronics are coming off our boat and going on this boat. We have to have it ready by April 8th, so.
Oh, I understand. We're under the gun.
So,
What's the time frame to get it here? Like, say we pulled the trigger tomorrow.
so we have tentatively set up, there's 4 of us that are gonna drive down on the 29th of this month, so, pending the vote tonight, we're gonna set that up, and we've already talked to the dealer down there, and they can meet with us on the 30th of this month. Go for a test drive and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll bring it back.
Okay, do we have any potential buyers for the
We have not
remnants of our
even
boat?
shopped it yet.
Haven't shopped it
We
yet?
haven't shopped it around, it's gotta be surplus first, obviously, and then, I think Tracy talked about just putting it on that.
Yeah, on the website,
On the
see
website,
lights,
see
yeah,
lights, yeah.
okay.
So we also, as a department, don't owe anything on any of our properties or anything with the department. So the money is in this fund. You know, so we feel this as, you know, our committee has decided this would be the best use of it.
So we have enough money in the fund to,
In the reserve, in the fire department reserve fund. Last month, we put $100,000 in, it was already 80 something, 83. So yeah, it'll take a lot out.
do any of the other area, villages and towns make contributions towards the boat? Because when we're out in this boat, it goes into all those other places, so it would seem like they should be giving something towards us.
They mutual aid to us as well. They help us when we need it too. So it's like in-kind services.
Okay.
In essence.
So if I could real quick, Lori, I can answer that as well. Paulneyville has their boat. North Rose has a boat. Wolcott's the one who they took their boat out of service, I believe 2 years ago. So they do not. So they'd be the only ones that don't have. But like Billy said, everybody is basically AMA, automatic mutual assistance. So that's kind of how that one works. But none of us have the true lake capability.
We need
That
that.
this boat, the new safe boat, that the new to us safe boat will give all of our firefighters, and like Luke said, the transients and the locals. Now instead of a partial season, summer season, we're now a 3.5 season per year fire department. We'll be the only ones on the water. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
And EMS equipment will be supplied by Silver Waters, those villages, Sodus Point. We've already got that pretty well set up on this boat we've got now, but like they said, it's going to enlarge the amount of area
Yes.
and make things easier to use and that type of thing.
So we have the money, we need the boat. I move that we approve the 175, or should it be 185 so they have enough to outfit it? And do
We
we,
should, they can come back for that month.
okay,
Yeah.
I move
Once we
that
know what
we,
we're doing.
Yeah, once we get it back here, we can kind of narrow down what we need to do. I mean, right now, we don't, without it here, we have no idea, we don't.
yeah.
So.
They've seen a lot of pictures, but not.
We've seen a lot of pictures, we faced.
Yeah, you might come back and say.
Yeah, so, but.
It looks
guy,
pretty
we
good.
built a relationship with the
Yeah.
guy who owns it now. We're gonna go down, we're gonna test drive it, make sure it is what we want, and what the
Yeah.
board approves of, and yeah, hopefully have this ready. We kind of the committee knows the amount of work that's gonna put in to have to move over to this boat by April 8th.
And not only do we have to transfer everything over, we have to train with both too. We can't just go out there.
No,
knowing how to use
Right.
it.
Have they had a survey? Is the survey on the boat and all that?
Yeah, we have.
It's all done with the boat
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, we have actually we have straight from the factory, we have all the build
Okay.
specs, everything.
Just
Yeah.
making sure we don't have
Yeah,
to
they've
wait
done-
on something.
No, they've done all the inspections on everything. It was a government agency boat, so, anything that was done to it was recorded. Yeah,
Nice.
so I mean.
And it is also it's also a Coast Guard documented vessel as well.
Yeah.
So
Outstanding.
that's a big plus.
Outstanding.
I move that we approve the 175 to purchase the fireboat.
I'll second that motion.
Presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very nice.
Thank you. I'll give all the credit to Chuck, even though you couldn't show up, but thank you, everybody.
Just if I can,
Oh, yeah.
thank you all very much. This is a game changer for our village, for our area. What you guys just voted on tonight's a big deal, and thank you. Thank you, Billy, and to the mayor for the help in trying to figure it and go through this. We all greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Did
Thank
we,
you.
did we vote?
Did we vote? We motioned.
I motioned.
Okay. Already
Yeah,
did.
can you vote, please?
I moved.
You guys signed it. Sit here. Yeah, okay.
The other
If
question I had.
anybody, sorry, if anybody wants the pictures, I can email it to anybody.
Just want to ride on it. A voluntary ride.
But we'll take the old one.
Thanks for all you do.
No,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let's wait.
okay, okay,
What's
Let's
that?
wait.
that's fine.
Let's wait for what?
Just
To
surplus.
surplus it. We're gonna wait till we
Oh.
get everything.
You
Yeah,
gotta get stuff off.
Yeah.
When you're dealing in the water before you,
right.
before you get rid of the old, yeah.
All right, the next order of new business is home rule for golf carts and village roads. This is something we did a year and a half ago. Last year, we asked the state senate and assembly to approve it, but because we had passed the resolution in 22, they couldn't act on it in 23. So we have to pass a new resolution if we still want to do this, and then state legislature will act on it before they adjourn in June. This will allow us to authorize the use of golf carts on village roads. It doesn't change Route 14. But it lets us authorize the use under whatever conditions we choose, probably street legal and lights and turn signals, brake lights and all that stuff, of which there are several. If that's something we want to pursue, because currently operating a golf cart on any road in the state is against the state vehicle and traffic law. The sheriff, the state looked the other way.
I'm in favor, especially the part of
Me too.
licensed drivers though, would be the biggest.
Yep.
You know, and I think we ought to put it, you know, a licensed driver as a, 16, 17, whatever that case is, no permits, we have to make sure our verbiage is very clear there because,
Yeah, that'll come in the code.
yeah.
Do you need this read then?
We don't need to read it as long as you've all read it, or we can read it if somebody has next time. But essentially, we're saying we're a resort community. We are looking to expand our reputation to better accommodate residents and tourists while enjoying the benefits of the village. Over the last several years, there's been an increase in people operating golf carts on village roads in violation of the law. That we believe it's in the village best interest to allow operation by licensed drivers. And then we resolve that the village board supports a deviation from New York State vehicle and traffic law to allow the operation on village streets by licensed drivers. And that the Sodus Point Village Board request enactment of a special law, otherwise known as home rule request, to amend the vehicle and traffic law to permit operation of golf carts on village streets by licensed drivers.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm not opposed. But I'm caught in the middle because I want to make sure after picking people out of the road a couple, 3 or 4 times in the last few years, that we don't end up doing that. But the other side of that is you're talking about making sure they're licensed, which will be a difficult thing to do, but if we get that in our rules and make sure that the little orange triangles don't mean jack diddly. That's if you're hauling hay around, and get it done the way it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm with it.
So you voted.
I'll go yes.
All right. All right, one thing I neglected to follow up on with the last item was the resolution appropriating funds from the fire equipment capital reserve fund. Whereas the village, Sodus Point Board of Directors has established a capital reserve fund for the fire department, whereas the village of Sodus Point of Trustees has approved the purchase of a 2010 Safe Boat Defender 25 with 2011 Easy Loader trailer for $175,000.
It says 170, Jim.
Oh, no, I just changed it as I read it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the vote was 170, the trailer was 5. Right, so that's what happened, 175.
And is hereby resolved to issue a permissive referendum for appropriating $175,000 from the fire equipment capital reserve fund for said purchase.
We need a motion on that?
Yep,
So moved?
Second.
all in favor?
I,
Let's pay the bills.
before we get started, I had people ask me what we had spent on the attorney fees, and this isn't for Matt. It's for bond as of the end of December. It'd be 2907 for the month of December. So I'm just pulling that out. And it's in these bills tonight.
The bills 2-1 through 249, totaling 69,145.81. General fund 44,977.14. Water 4,931.97. And wastewater 19,230.
We pay the bills.
I'll second. If someone doesn't.
All in favor?
I,
Okay, all right. We need to schedule some budget sessions, and I'll let you lead this discussion so that we can,
We have a couple of,
yeah.
and we also need all the departments to. Put in the fire department, I think they're good. Just.
But we need the
a little bit of
meetings,
time.
yeah, and we need a week or two in between meetings.
I mean, I'm.
So when do you want, when can the first one be? First week in March, maybe?
It's already the 15th,
Yeah.
so yes. We would have to leave it. Otherwise I.
Yeah.
So either the first or second week in March.
second week is better for me than the first,
What night?
but I can call in.
I can do Tuesday or Wednesday evening.
So the 12th and the 13th?
Because we should probably do two. Just schedule two.
Yeah.
And then if we don't need the second one, great, but if we do.
It's Tuesday night work for everybody else? Is that your meeting night though?
No, that's the third Tuesday of the month.
So I want to say the 12th. What time do we want to start?
How long do you think it's gonna take, Tracy?
I mean. Why, a couple hours.
Couple hours?
Yeah. That's,
4 o'clock, so we can get out of here at a decent time?
I can't do that.
Can't do it.
Just a little bit later than that. If you can do 4:30, that would make it easy for me.
Is that-
I can be here to 4:45.
So let's say 5.
4:45.
It's too easy to forget.
I miss all my appointments that start at
Tuesday, the 12th.
Yeah.
correct. That's for the first.
And then. That following week is,
4 week. Wednesday the 19th,
or
same thing, 5 to 7. Oh, that's your night, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the third Tuesday.
Yeah.
yeah, I could do it earlier that day. I could do 4:30. You know, I might be 5 minutes late, but I would do 4:30.
Or how's the 20th? Wednesday.
That whole week is toast for me on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In the evenings or in the nights like that. That's here, there, and then Wayne County EMS Advisory Board.
What time does that start on the 19th? Will it be 4:30?
What's the 19th? Is that a Tuesday? or-
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, if we did 4:30, because our meeting starts at 6:30.
Okay.
If you wanted to do
Did you
that.
want to start at 4?
No, I can't because I may not be back on the bus.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that work?
4:30, yeah, that works. 19th at 4:30.
Okay.
We'll probably start with water and wastewater. On the 12th, that helps us get the feel of it. And then depending on how quick or slow that goes, we'll
Mhm.
go from there.
One thing that I forgot with the playground too, I had checked before with Dave, and we still had money in the American Rescue Funds for the playground. So that's where that money was coming from.
Yeah, Tracy and I need to work next week to reconcile what's out of there, because our numbers are different, but playground fits in there.
Okay.
All right, we do need to go into executive session, and Kathy was gonna be here about this time. There she is.
Straight on cue.
Just like, my name, right on, yeah.
And we just finished, so we got lucky. All right, so I need a motion for us to move into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hey, quick question, Mark, Luke, I had somebody text